Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening lately, but the last couple of days we've had gremlins in the system, so we're starting out late again. Don't know what's happening. We got to check out and figure this out so this doesn't happen any longer. But thanks for sticking with us and tuning in. We do have a great show today. We're going to be talking about how to create viral video and just overall video, why it's so important for your Amazon brand. Our founder is our founder. I think I'm the founder, but our guest is the founder of Video Buddy, and also used to provide services for a company called iMotion Video, which I can tell you I subscribed to for years and years and years. It was a great service, but his new company called Video Buddy is a VIP sort of white glove concierge style for video editing, and it's really cool. We'll get into a bit of that while we talk to him. And I'm still frazzled by this thing taking so long, but our guest today is Jason Anderson, and I got to take a chill pill, Kels. Why don't you come on?
All right. Yes. Welcome, everyone. We have had some technical issues, but we're promised we're going to be fixing these and coming to you live on time. So Norm, right now, I think your mic is causing some static or anything, so you might need to unplug and replug in. But other than that, I'm going to throw it over to our sponsor, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you, Z.co, for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Are you looking to take your e-commerce business from local to global? You can with the help of Z and their brand new app. That's right. You can track live shipments with push notifications, get detailed lead times for each stage of your shipment, and store all compliance and VAT reclaim documents in the palm of your hand, all while listening to Lunch with Norm. Ready to expand your e-com empire and take your Amazon FBA business global? Use the link in the description to learn more about Z's new app that's now available on desktop and mobile. That's Z.co, ZEE.co. All right, we're back, and hopefully, Kelsey's my mic better?
We are good to go now. All right, so welcome everyone. Wow, we got a big crowd joining us. We got Marsha, Rad, Andy, Jeff, DK, Kim, Amar, Marina. Welcome everyone. Welcome Rosalind too. It's good to see everyone. So if you have any questions about video content, please just put it over into the comment sections, and we'll get that right over to you. And we also have a great giveaway as well, so stay tuned for that. And also let us know how your December is going. If you have any plans, what do you got going on? So please smash those like buttons. Let us know how you're doing, and we'll get this thing started.
Okay, so let's see if we can get this thing moving right along. Gremlins in the system. That's all I can say. Anyways, questions over in the comment section, and I hope we can sit back, relax, and grab that cup of coffee and enjoy the episode. I'm going to try. If you see me slip into the fetal position, you know why. All right, Jason, where are you?
I'm right here. How you doing, Norm?
Do you really want to know?
I see you're frazzled. I can hear the clicks. I can hear the static. You're doing live stuff, man. I'm used to doing all this post-production stuff, so anything I put out doesn't have any of the frazzles involved with it.
That is absolutely the fear I had getting into a live podcast, and we were okay. We had it where guests didn't show up. We were able to handle that. But when it's technical malfunctions, or if you're going live, like I'm going to be traveling next week, it's really tough because if the Wi-Fi cuts out, or if you give if it goes to, if it's under the normal standard, it's tough to put out there. But anyways, I hope I've got I've got an alternative camera. I've got a different mic. We'll see what happens today. And I hope it's good. I hope it's good for you. So I want to make sure that the guest experience is everything as well. So, Jason, you and I have worked together forever, and really not together, but I've used your SaaS service called iMotion, and it was a service you had, what, 5, 6 years ago, maybe, where you upload, like I would upload my script, give you guys some information about what I wanted in a video, and you would produce basically a 1 minute video for me, and it was good quality for for the price.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. And I started it in 2009, turned it into a membership that you signed up. It was around 2010. I'm not sure when you signed up for it, but I know that you were with me for a very, very, very long time. And you say that it was about 4 or 5 years ago, and that is true. That service that it was to get people, to give people an idea of what we did. We did the explainer videos, right? It was motion graphic stuff. You give me a script, I'll have a voice actor do it, and then have my video editors and compositors create a video about it. And a lot of them were like the commercial type videos. And so you mentioned, what we don't do that. We actually still do that, obviously, but I've actually pivoted my business model, my video, towards more along the lines of the you shoot, we edit type things, where we took everything that we learned from video compositing, After Effects, and all that stuff, and turned it into something that's that works a little bit better in today's environment with social. And so what we found was that motion graphic videos are there's a good time and place for them, but it's not really what's working on LinkedIn. It's not what's working on Facebook, and Twitter and things like that, or even, sometimes the website, how many motion graphic videos can you have that are interesting that people want to watch? So I think that, you doing these Lunch with Norm productions here, these are, with your audience, people are getting engaged. This is the talking head type thing. And you're actually producing content. So we wanted to work with people that were, doing stuff like this, like the Lunch with Norms, the other podcasts, or people who do a lot of documenting, people that, like the people that want to put out stuff that, like, the Grant Cardones and the Gary Vaynerchuks and things like that, those guys have teams. You watch those guys. I was watching a video from Grant Cardone the other day, and he walked into his editing room, and he had 5 or 6 full-time editors that are working on just chopping stuff up for him. Wow. And if you take a look at all the stuff that he's producing, it's great, but he's got a team behind him. And so what we did 5 years ago, and I'm sorry for the long introduction on what I do. I'm a fractional video production company now for people who don't necessarily have the 6-figure income budget to hire out a team of people to chop stuff up for them. And that's basically what we've been doing. So it'll be interesting how I know the topic you had was viral videos. And so, I know we want to start talking about that, because that's the holy grail of, videos. If you can get more eyeballs on your e-commerce videos, then hopefully, does that equate to more sales? We'll find out.
Right, exactly. And, that's the topic for today, but then it's just kind of drilling down into, video basics. What can people expect? How do they do it? So over the next hour, we're going to be talking about all sorts of different aspects of video production. But Jason, let's talk about viral videos. And actually, if anybody listening right now has had a viral video, let us know how you did it. Like, was it a fluke, or was it something that you intentionally set out to do with a budget? So what about you, Jason? What are some tips here? What have you seen in the past? I mean, I don't want to ask 1,000 questions on top of a question, but viral videos, what can be expected?
What can be expected about a viral video is that you can't plan a viral video. You can do things to increase the likelihood that more people are going to like your video and share your video and stuff. But we're talking specifically here, and I know this is an Amazon e-commerce channel that you're talking about here. So it's if somebody's selling staplers, on their website, or however, I'm not an e-commerce guy, I'm a video guy. But if somebody comes to me and says, hey, listen, I want a viral video on how to sell more staplers, it's a pretty tall order. There is, but I think it can be done. But the ideas have to come from a brainstorming session. You need to know who your audience is. There's certain, it's just like copywriting, the pre-production, the planning of the video, whatever you're going to do. You can't really anticipate, just like movies, for example. Let's kind of backtrack for a minute. Millions of dollars are spent on movie sets, and you've got executive producers and stuff that are spending lots and lots of money on a movie that can absolutely flop in the movie theaters. And so when people are planning out their videos for their e-commerce or for their service or whatever it is that they're doing, I know that we're trying to stick to the e-commerce side of things. You have to know that that there is nobody that can tell you, no service, no copywriter, nobody can tell you I can make you a viral video, because what's going to make the video viral is people actually sharing that video more, wherever it's at. So, long story short, there's no formula, but there's a formula for I guess increasing the likelihood, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I want to get to the formula, but this is one thing that I've seen. I've seen ads, I've seen emails, just people reaching out and talking to me about, oh, let's create a viral video for you. And when I see that, I kind of, okay, how are you going to do it? What is it going to cost? And you'll see things that are, I mean, it's just too good to be true. And typically that's what it is. It's too good to be true. Like you said, viral videos, sometimes they're just a fluke. Like Kelsey was telling me about something that was happening on TikTok just the other day, that this influencer just kind of went completely viral over something I guess he didn't mean to do. And it was just a fluke. But let's hear about the formula. Where can you start? At least if you're looking at trying to become viral, where can you even start with this formula?
Well, first of all, it depends. Like, again, are we focusing on like e-commerce brands, like where we're actually selling physical products? Like, let's really break it down to what are we actually trying, like, who are we?
Okay, so ideally we're targeting Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers. They have brands. So there's smaller brands. We could take something in the pet niche. So let's say we're selling a pet bed, something that's simple. Yeah. Or a pet product. It might be a bully stick.
Okay. So definitely products. This isn't, this isn't consulting or coaching or something like this. This is definitely product then. Like the stapler that I brought up before. Yeah. I mean, how do you make, okay. So a pet bed or a stapler, a pet niche. Okay. The formula that, it's actually very simple. You don't even need to write it down. The formula is to figure out what, obviously you need to know your audience, which is the copywriting research, right? But then the formula is how do you make something funny, right? Funny is what gets people to share stuff. When you're on Facebook, do you share something that is, you might share something that's interesting, but people that get a good laugh, that's where people are sharing. And so if you want to talk about, dog beds, then we need, like, I couldn't give you the script right now within, a 2-minute, just thinking over, you giving me that topic. We'd have to sit down and to the e-commerce owner and say, okay, so you've been selling these dog beds. Who are you selling them to? Who, like, what's the dogs that they're buying for? And it could literally be everything. I've got big dogs, small dogs, and medium dogs. So what would be something funny to show that that might get more eyeballs on your product? And then you might not really know exactly what is going to be funny or what's going to be shareable until you actually put out a couple different iterations of it. So, like, maybe you and I can do that, Norm. Let's think about like dog beds. If I were to work with somebody and they said, Jason, can you help me come up with a viral idea for dog beds? I'd probably need to think about it for a minute, a little bit more than an hour, obviously. But as long as we're on here, maybe we can workshop this a little bit, come up with what would be a funny situation for somebody who'd want to share this. And then we also have to think about what's the call to action on these videos. You know, if you're making this so commercial, people aren't going to share it either. So I think that the most effective videos that we have produced for our clients are videos that actually lead your prospect to look into you more, look into your store more, not necessarily go buy right there. Okay. So it's real hard to track that ROI from that video unless it's an actual sales video. So you can try to plan your viral videos like we're talking about right now, but the viral video is all about getting people to share for brand awareness and for basically to have that video itself to become famous. And then, so hopefully from there, then people can start going to your sites and to, checking it out and kind of go from there. But if you don't mind, I think that the time that we spend during this hour is to workshop something like that, so that we can have like a real world situation on, if you were selling dog beds or whatever you want to, maybe you could take one of your, one of your products, Norm, or whatever you're doing. Maybe we can kind of work on something like that and come up with the ideas, because once you have the ideas and we can come up with the, what needs to get done, now it's just a matter of assembling and puzzling together the video. Right. And so the hard part actually is coming up with the viral idea.
So just going off of that brainstorm, and I think this is a really important part of any video. There's a couple things that I thought of with these dog beds, and this is just off the top of my head. And then, I'll just shoot them over to you.
Yeah.
So first thing, I was thinking about is sort of like after a hard day's work, and you're seeing this dog doing his thing during the day. It could either be a service dog or it could just be a lazy dog, going outside, taking a leak, coming back in, resting. I mean, after a hard day's work, and then you see him kind of laid out in the bed. The other one is a bed that's more comfortable for every family member or something like that. So you see the dog, the cat, and then you see the pet owner or something, just something
laying
fun
down in the bed, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Or something.
So those are two things that just kind of quickly came up.
Yeah, and we could actually go through and come up with a dozen more, right? So there's no bad answer, but we're starting somewhere within the first 3 minutes here. These are a couple ideas. What are we going to do those or not? I don't know. Because also, one second here. Sorry. The other thing you have to think about is when you're coming up with the ideas is like, how complicated is it going to be to produce? And are you actually going to do it? So we can come up with a bunch of ideas. You can study, the really funny videos that are out there, and you've got different scenes and you got people that are acting, but can you, as an e-commerce seller, can you actually pull that off? Is that something that you can film? Is that something? So we also need to think about, when we're trying to create content for ourselves, what can we do now? Not so far in the future and with a huge budget. What can we do now to increase the type of content that we have out there? And if the goal is to come up with a viral video, that is a great lofty goal. I think that you might be able to get there. But if we're thinking about sales, if we're thinking about coming up with a sales video, I think it's going to be tainted. And so we really need to think about entertainment only, right? So we're only want to do, what can we do for our product that's entertaining, that that your audience, who's like, I'm a dog lover. I've got Shiley's my dog. She's 11 years old. We just literally had a cancer scare 2 weeks ago. She had a death sentence given to her. We thought we went to our normal vet, and they said, take her home for a week, love her up, and bring her back so we can put her down. And I'm like, I don't accept that. And I want to research more about, what it is, how aggressive is this cancer. And so we actually went to Michigan State University, and this is 2 weeks ago, literally they did the ultrasound, and same conclusion, like, this is 99% probably it's malignant. This type of cancer is very bad. And, but we need to at least have some spleen surgery right now. I'll speed up the story, but we had the spleen surgery, and we had the biopsies done in the liver and stuff. Come to find out, it was benign. So she's cancer free. We have the spleen removed. We are, we have been given a new lease on life. So, I tell the story because I'm a dog lover. So I love this, the idea of, the dog beds, I'd show you now, we've got a dog bed, obviously, and we lovingly call it the $60 bed. It's kind of funny because I remember we were at like PetSmart or something when we got it, and we were going through, and it was like $60, and this is 10 years ago. And, we're joking around, we're spending $60 on our dog. Well, guess what? People spend a lot more than that. Now with this new diet that we're doing with her, like I'm now thinking, we're not going to give her this kibble anymore. We're thinking about what can we do to, keep our dog healthy.
Yeah.
So the dog niche is such a passion niche, and something that people can really get into, thinking about how to make these funny situations, right? So whether it's the dog bed or the collar, or if they're selling, the full body harnesses, or if they're selling food or any of this kind of stuff, there is a passionate niche behind that. So I guess I want to backpedal again some more, Norm, and say, if we go back to the stapler issue, I mean, how passionate is somebody going to be about a stapler? How passionate is somebody going to be about office products? But Staples did a good job coming up with, if you think about the some of the commercials that they did before. Now they're kind of they're in trouble now. The Staples isn't doing great, but I remember the easy button and stuff like that. The easy button went viral because people talk about it all the time. People are making jokes about it, right? So that's a great example of it. Now, is that going to be, did they know it was going to go viral? They probably had a pretty good idea because they brainstormed it. But that's the idea of how to make like a stapler, viral. You come up with the easy button, boom, and so think deeper than what your actual product is. Think about, what are these scenarios? And now that we have iPhones and webcams and things like that, you can actually think about, well, I'm going to be showing a video that's going to look like it's homemade. Okay, so now that we know that, we're not doing all the lighting and professional audio and stuff, take that into consideration when you're writing your script or when you're kind of coming through that. So I've been talking a little bit too long here. I don't really know how much I've been rambling here because
because you're talking about with an iPhone. Sometimes I would think that doing these homemade looking videos could pull it off better than a professional production, and it'd be so much less expensive.
It depends on, where's the medium? Where are we going to post these videos?
Yeah, so let's say we're using YouTube, Facebook, the typical ones, right?
The social media, right?
Yeah, social media.
Well, even television sometimes, you take a look at some of these, your local cable commercials.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those, somebody brought out a camera, and I think of HVAC all the time. Well, it seems like those guys always hire a wedding videographer to create their commercial for them, because you can tell that they're not the high-end commercials, right? But they have, they're also creating funny stuff and jingles and things like that too. So like jingles is a good way to get, like, if you're going to, say, for example, if you had a podcast and you wanted to make snackables, like we have an hour-long podcast that's going on right now, and say out of this hour, we come up with, 5 or 6, like some golden mic drop moments that are really good, that about 90 seconds, and we were to cut them out from that. And if you had like a jingle or something that came along with this, and people start consuming your 90-second videos, maybe one after the other, because they're looking for the answer. They're not looking for this long convoluted story that takes an hour long to get, but they're coming along with that stuff. You've got the jingle of whatever whatever it is that you're doing. There's this company called Service Professor, and they sing as the dumbest thing in the world. They got the guys up there, the Service Professor is, they come in, they're the heating and cooling and all that other stuff, and the jingle is Service Protector, we'll fix it in a snap, and they go like this and snaps. And when I heard it, I was like, oh, that's so dumb. But I've heard it 500 times now, and now I catch myself singing that damn song in the shower.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So and then also, what's the other one? The other one that I like, this one everybody's going to know. Liberty Mutual. Liberty.
Yeah.
When I first heard that, I'm like, they paid somebody a lot of money to come up with Liberty. I'm like, wow. And I didn't like it because it was just it seemed so unoriginal. I was like, but it works because my wife is doing it. Liberty. And so you've got, how do you make, it's like, it's sometimes when you're talking about making things viral, we're talking about sometimes making your brand funny, not necessarily a single video. Take the pressure off of yourself to come up with a single video that's going to be a viral hit, because even people that are going to agencies and spending 7 figures for them to come up with the ideas and the skits and the actors and all this stuff, to come up with a Super Bowl type commercial. Even sometimes those can flop. When's the last time?
Yeah.
I mean, the Super Bowl commercials. How many times have you watched a Super Bowl and you're like, you're totally disappointed and that brand put a lot of money, not only just to place it on the Super Bowl, but to produce it and make it. It was like, that was stupid.
Yeah.
So
that happens
you got to
every
give
year
yourself a
when
little bit
you
of a break
watch
if you don't come up with the best idea within 5 minutes of thinking of something.
Right. Okay. So if I'm kind of interested, if you're not using video, and we're going to get into content in a second, but if you're not using video right now, why not? And let's see, we do have a giveaway today. All right. So what is the giveaway today, Jason?
Well, we were talking about that earlier with your son, and we mainly, obviously, I'm a service, and I was like, he goes, "Do you have anything to give away?" I'm like, "Not really. I've got a full staff, and I've got a full client list of people that we're working on stuff every single day, and don't really have the bandwidth to do free work. But I have the bandwidth of being able to work with somebody to maybe for an hour where we can kind of brainstorm who their audience is, who they're talking to, and then come up with the video ideas of stuff that they can do on their own, with or without a video editor. Having a video editor helps, obviously, to puzzle the stuff together. But coming up with a list of actual ideas and maybe some scripts that within an hour, like where you and I are talking, we wouldn't be, I don't know, going from topic to topic, but it would literally be a one-on-one, what's working based upon the 30,000 videos that we have in my pocket that I've done, since 2010, really. What are some ideas based upon their specific, what are they selling?
Right.
This is so easy to do. Like, we're talking about staples and we're talking about dog beds, but to whoever's listening, I bet you whoever's listening is not selling staples, and it's likely that they're probably not selling dog beds either.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And that's a fantastic prize. You can go right to the main person. Jason knows his stuff. So that would be hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, and you will get a second entry. So Kelsey, can let's see, I think we should break right now for a word from our sponsor. I wanted to give a quick shout out and say thank you to Global Wired Advisors for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Global Wired Advisors is a leading digital investment bank focused on optimizing the business sales process. For more information, please call Chris Schifferling and his team over at globalwiredadvisors.com. Well, that just reminded me, Chris is going to be down in Miami this weekend for the event, a Festivus event. So if any of you, I see Jessica, so Roz, if you're down in Miami, hopefully you can join us and just meet up. I'm only going to be there for the one day, but it should be a great event. So if anybody from the communities in around the Miami area, just come on over and say hi. All right, let's switch gears a little bit. And I asked the audience about why they're not using video. Video makes great content. You and I, we know it. We've been doing it for years. You know better than I how good, how great content is. So what type or how can we use video for content?
Is that question for me or is that question for you?
Yeah, that's for you.
All right. So, listen, video is the reason why I like video, especially post-production video, more so than even this live stuff, is because you can't really screw it up. If you make a mistake, you can just re-record, right? Or you can just say the sentence over and then cut out, either you or the editor can cut it out. If I don't like the way that I delivered something, then there's no pressure when you're shooting a video and you're not live.
Tell me about
it. And you don't have static, right? And if you did, then you'd make sure that you cut it out or you'd reshoot it. So the reason why I like video is because you can also by recording yourself, by recording yourself, sometimes you come up with some moments of genius that you just wouldn't if you were to sit down and like write out a blog post or something. If you're actually talking to if you're having a conversation, whether it's to a camera, like I like these types of, even though this is live, I like the fact that this is still something, I could take this recording and give it to my guys and say, hey, chop up this stuff, give me a 30-second, give me 3 30-second bites out of this that would be helpful to somebody. And those are, then I'd have 3 videos that I wouldn't even think of doing on my own. But by having a conversation, now we're creating stuff. It's being recorded. So the reason, that's why I like videos, is you have so much flexibility. If you've got, even just the slightest bit of editing ability, just cut and chop, just learn the basics. You can still, you don't have to spend a lot of money or even spend any money to take these, it just takes a little bit of time to take what you record, publish it, and just keep, I think that most people don't publish because they're afraid, or they think that their performance isn't good, or there's all sorts of things. Well, it's not live. So if your performance isn't good, cut another take until you're happy with it. Right. So you accidentally come up with content when you're recording yourself. So obviously prepare. If you're going to shoot about something, it's like, if you're going to, let's, rather than viral videos, let's go right to the sales video. If you're selling dog beds and you're sending them to a landing page for your Shopify store, or your Amazon, or however you're selling it, whatever your platform is, and that video is there, you've got a 90-second video, you plan it out, then obviously, you're going to write out the things that you want to do. And, we brainstorm, what the video is going to be about. And you kind of have a little bit of a script. But even then, when you're recording stuff impromptu, even, that's usually where we find the most, the brilliant accidental good copywriting, is you're just spitting stuff out. And the nice thing is that with video, it's not live. With video, you can actually chop all the stuff out that made you look dumb, right? Or that made you look like that you didn't know what you're talking about, but here's this, or, maybe you did find that golden nugget, and then you're like, I'm going to write about that, or I'm going to make a quote card for myself, like this great thing that I thought of, and then maybe even come up with a video idea from the golden nugget that you found. So I really like the post-production stuff. That's why I'm in this business here, Norm. I know the videos we did for you were mainly like the explainer video stuff. But what we've been doing for the past 5 years, doing our actually we edit stuff for mainly, coaches and influencers and things like that, people who have podcasts, and we're, breaking stuff down, speakers. We're finding these golden nuggets within the Dropbox and the Google Drives of these videos that they just give us and just have us work on to find stuff. That's where we're finding the content. It's we're doing this giveaway where I'm going to help somebody for an hour, and we're going to brainstorm, specifically for their product, what can be done, and what are some videos that can be shot right away, and some shortcuts to have some content, within literally the same day that we have our conversation. But we've got, I'm kind of losing track of where I'm going with that conversation, but it's more along the lines of, I do what I do now because the fact that we're able to find stuff rather than kind of create it from scratch is always seems to be more authentic and and more shareable when it comes to social.
Right. I find that the advantage to doing live, the disadvantage to doing live, is you have issues that can come up, like what happened earlier today. But the disadvantages. The advantages are those exact same things, because it's like a Formula One race, right? They're waiting for the yellow flags or the red flags. Same thing here. You mess up, or if it's natural, people actually, at least I look at it as, people like that type of podcast where you can take it and then you can repurpose it.
Yeah.
So you can have your blooper, like I'm sure we'll have a lot of bloopers from just this podcast that I've screwed up. But, hey, if I go into the fetal position during a podcast, sometimes that makes great content. The other thing is, like, I do have this other
If you're going to go
podcast.
to fetal position on your podcast, make sure you do it on your dog bed.
There you go. Okay. Yeah.
So,
and I
and
do
then
have
there's
one
your
right
viral-
here.
There's your viral
So,
thing, right?
but I do have another podcast that the Lunch with Norm, or sorry, the I Know This Guy podcast, that they are pre-recorded. And you're absolutely right. Some of the best nuggets that come out of that podcast are not like we have it edited. Hayden, my other son, does the editing, but then we take the snippets and we'll get the 30 and the 90 seconds that are just, we didn't put it into the actual podcast. It was missed. And we've got these golden little nuggets that we can put out. And the other thing I want to add to this is, even if you go live or if you go pre-recorded, exactly what you do. You take out those snippets, those nuggets, and you repurpose. You know,
Yep.
and that's what we found, that we have content now that we could just continually repurpose. And we have a team that just takes snippets and repurposes on different platforms.
Yeah. And that's honestly, that's like this recording right here, where I'm taking a look at the live things, 36 minutes and 13 seconds. You know, out of that, maybe there's a good 3, you know, some good stuff. If there's not, there's not. But, you know, you're able to at least go through, and whoever's watching now is obviously somebody who's already your audience member, somebody who already likes you, somebody who likes your content, knows that you bring on different guests, and maybe they've got some time to maybe, you know, write down one thing that's going to help them with their e-commerce business. And that's why they're here. Right. But then the others, you know, you've got the recording. I think I don't know how many people actually watch your, like, recorded stuff, but that's what your podcast is all about. It's not about, I mean, live is this is just the recording. The podcast, somebody might listen to this a year from now, and who knows who it's going to be, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's, when it comes to like e-commerce and stuff, you know, I literally saw, you know, cause you'd ask me, you know, cause the reason why it was so casual with us, it's like, hey man, you want to do a podcast? I'm like, sure. And then, let's schedule a date out. And I'm like, great, here it is. And then I saw that there was like an invite and it says how to make viral videos. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to tell them how to make viral videos when we all know that you can't plan a viral video out? Nobody has a crystal ball, and nobody has that, you know, even the people that are, like we talked about before, even people who are spending millions of dollars for Super Bowl ads come up with some dumb ideas that they thought was a great idea, but it just flopped to the audience. So the answer is you can't make viral videos. Viral videos happen. And the only way for you to have things happen is to, like, obviously, think about things that you can do that's going to be easy to produce, that's going to be funny, but then also to create more content, because the more content you have, the more chance you have of something going viral on accident. You know, so that's really the secret. If somebody wants to, that's not even write downable. That is just, I knew when we were going to be talking about this today, I'm like, this is real, honestly. And some people don't know that, but I think most people intuitively know that it's just impossible to say let's make a viral video. It really cracks me up when people actually fall for, like you were talking about before, they're selling programs on how to make a viral video, and you know, spending thousands of dollars to here's this long convoluted course on how to make a viral video. I think it's bullshit, to tell you the truth. If I can say that live TV, I think I can. It's social, right?
Okay, so I know we've got a hard cutoff time today. So, Kelsey, can you throw up some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have,
and I can't read them, by the way. That's another thing. I can't even see.
That's my job. All right, from Dr. Cause. Hey, Jason, when you chop up videos, do you pop the smaller shorts on YouTube, for example? So do you cut the smaller video content onto YouTube for shorts?
Well, actually, I know about the YouTube shorts. Yes, we are. We haven't been doing those specifically, but we've been doing shorts for the past 5 years, where people are making their own shorts. We call them snackables, and normally it's from stuff like this, like it's a podcast, but we usually make stuff up that are, again, we chop stuff up, and things aren't necessarily linear either. Like, say, for example, if you were to take this conversation that Norm and I are having, I might say something that's, you know, that starts off with a concept, kind of go off kilter a little bit, but then kind of wrap it up with a nice sentence. And then so we just kind of do some hard cuts and put the two nuggets together. So instead of having a 4-minute video where I go on and on and on, I've got something where I say something, kind of introduce the concept. I say whatever I need to, concisely say, and then I have like a wrap up sentence. And so, we're taking the time to actually chop those things up and put those into 30 seconds. So I don't know if I'm answering your question, but yeah, I would say 90% of the work that we do are not necessarily YouTube shorts, but they're short snackable stuff for all, Instagram, for the, a 30-second Facebook video that has, or especially like LinkedIn is really working well if you're a professional that has advice and stuff. And I know we're talking to e-commerce stuff, but like right now, if I were doing shorts of e-commerce stuff, how can we demonstrate stuff that's, what's a really cool thing like about a dog bed that you can show that would, not necessarily be viral, but what can you show? What's great about this bed? I don't know. You have to really, what can we show? And then, pepper in some motion graphics over it, maybe a voiceover, some music and stuff like that. And all of a sudden now we've got something that's kind of cool. But the thing is, and I'm wandering away from your actual specific question, but let's stop thinking about how to sell stuff and let's start thinking about how to show stuff. And then the selling comes kind of a little bit later, because people can sniff out a promotion anytime,
Right.
People can sniff out a sales video. They're like, they're not going to share that. How many times have you shared a sponsored video other than if it's, you might click it and you might like be a prospect for whatever it is that's on, on that social ad, but it's never going to be, even if it's great, it's not going to be a viral video, if it's too salesy.
Yeah. One other thing too is the amount of content. Like if you're just trying to put out a simple video and that's it, when we started the podcast, I was talking to myself. Well, Kelsey was there, so we were talking back and forth. But as we started to get more and more, and we started to bring out more content, put it on more platforms, the audience grew. So, just you can try to be the one and done, but a lot of the times, it's based on content. It's just, and that's a Gary Vee thing, right? It's just put out content.
And your chances of becoming viral are going to be exponentially higher if you know what your audience likes. And how do you know what your audience likes if you don't put stuff out? So, maybe you talk about a specific topic and it's serious, not even funny. Like we're talking about the main component to a viral video is humor. But what if you actually talk about something that's very serious? What if I told my story about my dog that's emotional and I could make that into a concise story, 30 seconds, and then kind of tie it into, why I like dog stuff and what if that really, like a lot of people were, into it, now like they're making comments on my page because they're interacting, and how social works, as there's a whole formula behind that, but you get more and more people to comment and like and share stuff. Now your stuff is going to show more to them, to those specific people, because they are commenting, they're giving you all this stuff. So, if you've got some emotional stuff that you can do now, because you are posting more and more and more content, they're going to start seeing it more. And obviously, there's just there's so many ways to get to viral. Viral is really, when I say a nobody, if you don't have an audience, if you're going to spend ad money, you're not going to have a viral video because you don't have an audience to begin with. So you need to think about that. Before you start thinking about viral, start thinking about content. Stop trying to think that the viral video is going to be the thing that's going to save you. It's not. An audience is going to be the thing that saves you.
Very good. Kels?
All right. The next question is from Michael. We are getting close to the cutoff time. From Michael, are the quick hand-drawn for getting attention?
They have been for us. We've done several of them. I think that they were more effective earlier when it was more of a like a novelty. They haven't seen that before, but it's still, whether it's hand drawn or you've got motion is what does well. So that's why, I named my company iMotion Video, and everything we did was motion. But we've noticed that, as long as you're moving something every 10 seconds, whether it's a hand drawing or you've got something moving to keep people engaged other than the story, then you're doing, yes. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. The hand drawn explainers are good, but they're not, I think that they're good when they're peppered in. But if you've got a 5-minute or 10-minute hand drawn explainer video, after the first 30 seconds, the effect is gone. So, right. It might not be worth investing that, whether you're investing the time to create it yourself or hiring, if you were to hire somebody to do a 10-minute hand drawn video like that, you're going to spend thousands of bucks. So, I mean, is it worth it? I don't know.
Right. Okay. Let's do another question.
Okay, I think this will probably be the last one.
Yep.
Okay, from Red, which editing software do you recommend? And I guess, do you recommend doing it yourself in editing, or should you go to a service?
Well, I recommend that you learn the basics and not I guess the apps. I would get the real video editing software like Adobe Premiere. I would get or the Sony Vegas or the Apple. Anything, just learn one where you've got, and you can honestly just YouTube basic editing techniques on these things. Mm-hmm. And then, so from there, when we're talking about, creating these videos, rather than these apps, the rabbit hole that I find myself and some other clients, they find themselves into is they find this thing that they can buy for $19 on the Apple store or whatever. And then, or it's limited, or they've got, they will learn how to maybe create a video within Canva, which now has kind of a motion kind of creator. You find that you spend 3 hours in there trying to work within the constraints of what they have. And then so you get something and you're kind of happy with it only because you just spent the 3 hours of your life getting it done. So my recommendation is if you don't have a budget, then just learn how to come up with some content that you don't need to edit heavily. And that's usually just a talking head video with your camera and just do some short edits, and from there, get the real editing software and just learn the basics from there, because you can also, you can hire freelancers, you can hire an agency like myself where we're a video-centric, we're basically a fractional video-centric content team is what we are. Norm, when I first started off, it was all about video editing, but we're actually right in 2022, we are in the pivot of becoming more of a video-centric content, not just to be known for video editing, video compositing. We're starting video first. And then from there, we're taking that technique that I was telling you about before, where you film a podcast like this, you got an hour worth of content. From that, now you can create transcripts. You can create the story. You can get a copywriter that's going to create some stories around it, around maybe some of the ideas that you touched upon, come up with the snackable moments of the actual recording, that type of stuff. And so to answer the question, what would I recommend? I recommend that you work on your content first and not what you're going to make your content with. And to make your content good, just get in front of a camera and start talking about it, right? And then if the nice thing about unlive stuff is that if you don't like your performance or if you don't think that was great, you don't have to publish it, Right. So, yeah. So one of the things, so last chance to register for hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, you get a second entry. But Kelsey, just, anybody comes in at the last second, throw them into the wheel, not literally. But Jason, how do people get a hold of you? Email. I would say just jason@videobuddy.net is one of the best ways to get a hold of me right now. Or, obviously they can get a hold of me on Twitter. I've been on there for long enough that my actual name, Jason Anderson, is my @ a lot of people can't get that. So, so they can get me there. But email is probably the best way. Okay. And we have posted the URL as well to your videobuddy.net. Yeah. Okay. So Kelsey, are we ready?
All right. Yes, we are. And thank you, everyone who joined today's Wheel of Kelsey. And here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay.
Everyone, let me see. This is today's entries. Thank you, everyone who entered. I'm going to spin the wheel. Here we go. If you are the winner, please contact me, k@lunchwithnorm.com. And let's see, the winner
Oh,
is
man,
Rad.
rad.
Rad was the one that asked how to contact you, Jason. So I think
Yeah, so there we go.
That's perfect. What, what,
perfect.
is this rigged?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that's fantastic, Rad. And especially since I know your products, this could work perfect for you. So I think you're going to grab a lot of information from Jason when you talk to him. Okay, sir, thank you. I know we've been talking for a long time about getting you onto the podcast. I really appreciate you coming on today. There's so much more we could talk about. And, hopefully if you have some time in the future that we can get you back on.
Maybe, if what I do with Rad actually takes off, then we can do another one, a little case study about what happened.
That would be awesome. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Kind of puts me under the gun to make sure that we get Rad, right? We get Rad taken care of. Good, yeah. So
and that takes the pressure off of me. So yeah, good.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks for having me, Norm.
You're welcome. All right, everybody. Once again, sorry for the flaw of the flubs, at the beginning. Hopefully you learned a ton today about viral videos and how to use content. We'll be digging more and more into this. I know in the Centurion group the other day, I had a full presentation on content and the different types of content and how to use it. So this isn't something that's just going to stop with this one podcast. We'll do many more about it. Okay, so Monday, I think it's Monday. Is that correct? Is it Monday or Friday, Kelsey? Nathan's going to be on.
Sorry, we're having some technical issues with the Wi-Fi. Nathan's going to be on Friday.
Oh, it is going to be Friday. Okay. So anyways, Nathan will be on Friday, and Nathan Hirsch, he was with FreeUp. I think probably a lot of people know of him with FreeUp. Now he's with Outsource School, and we're going to be talking about the journey of the entrepreneur, the best and the worst moments. Now, before we go any further, let's have a quick word from our sponsor. Thank you, Cellarize, for sponsoring this episode of Lunch with Norm. Cellarize is your comprehensive solution for your everyday business needs. Everything you need to grow and scale your Amazon business is just one click away. For more information, contact Dima and his team over at Cellarize.com. And remember, Cellarize is with one R. Okay, so just remember, if you do want more beard, if you want to become a beardo, visit our Patreon site. We have all sorts of different membership levels to meet any budget, from buying Kelsey a cup of coffee to having like really cool, not one-on-one, but very small training sessions. And Kelsey, if you want to come on, we had a really great one yesterday. I wasn't able to attend, but I heard it was fantastic with Stephen Black.
Yeah, that's right. And I just want to say, Jason, I know you have to get going. So if you do have to leave, we can talk afterwards and catch up later. Or if you have time, we can stick around to chat. Anyways, yeah, we had a great session with Stephen Black. It was great. We talked a whole bunch about actionable steps to build your communities. And yeah, it was awesome. It ended up being like an hour, 10-minute conversation.
Wow.
So he shared a screen. He took us step by step. So yeah, it was pretty cool. If you are interested, all of these recordings all of these sessions are recorded too. So if you join the Patreon, you have access to all of those courses that we did in the past, not just the ones going forward. So pretty cool stuff. Stephen Black is definitely an expert, and yeah, it was really cool. I could just sit back and let him go, and it was awesome.
Oh, we do have to talk to Jason to see if we can use the word snackable. It kind of goes with Lunch with Norm.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. We'll have to hit him up on that one. Okay, so join us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, noon Eastern Standard Time. Hey, we have flubs. You're the part of the community. I hope you accept the flubs. I'm sure you do. You probably like me screwing up. But anyways, we couldn't do this without you guys. If you do have any suggestions for guests or topics, just let us know. And I guess we will see you on Friday. Have a great day.
Lunch with the